So we are here in the middle of a heat wave. If you have a small child or an infant and you're wondering how to keep your baby safe during this and what signs of overheating look like, today's episode is all for you.
Welcome to the Beehive Doc Talks with Dr. Blair Rolnick. As a pediatrician and mother herself, Dr. Rolnick is here to answer your most pressing parenting questions and guide you through the tough spots.
Welcome back to Beehive Pediatrics. For those of you who are new to the show, my name is Dr. Blair Rolnick. I'm a board-certified pediatrician and mom myself. So if you are anywhere on the East Coast of the United States, we're kind of in the beginning or the midst of a heat wave. And so I thought it would be good to talk a little bit today about how hot is too hot for your baby and how can you keep your baby and little ones safe during this heat wave. So let's jump right in. So why are heat-related illnesses and diseases such a hot topic in infants and children compared to adults? There's really two reasons for that, but it all boils down to the fact that the smaller the child, the higher risk they are for heat-related disease and complication. And there's two main reasons for that. One, their body surface to weight ratio is small. And two, they do not sweat as effectively as adults, and so they cannot bring their temperature down as effectively as adults can. For those two combined reasons, infants and toddlers still are higher risk for heat-related illnesses and heat-related complications and diseases. So now that we know the why, the second most common question is, well, what do we do about it? How do we keep them safe? And how much heat is too much heat? So I think another complicated part of recognizing heat-related complications in babies especially is that they can overheat, but it's also hard to recognize some of the signs and symptoms in children at this age because they're not verbal. And this also goes for nonverbal children. So what are some of the signs of more mild to moderate heat exhaustion? Most babies will definitely get fussy, irritable without an explanation. So you check their diaper, they're well fed, and they're still kind of crying and irritable. Some children will get kind of telltale, like redness of the eyebrows or the ears. Later on, and it progresses more to a moderate stage, they may be making less wet diapers or less urine. They might actually, instead of being red and hot, white, clammy, pale, and they might actually appear weak. That's a sign of more moderate heat exhaustion. So how can you know when your child has moved from moderate heat exhaustion to severe heat exhaustion or heat stroke? This is more like an emergency level of heat exhaustion. So easy thing is going to be if your child feels warm to the touch, if they are not sweating, if you take their temperature and they have a core body temperature, so a rectal temperature of 103, 104, 40 degrees centigrade, if their heart is beating very fast, if their pulse is low, if they are vomiting, confused, not acting themselves, or very, very tired and out of it, these are all signs of serious heat stroke or heat exhaustion. In this case, actually, the first thing you want to do is call 911. After somebody has called 911, you want to move that child to a cool, shaded place. Place cool, damp cloths on the child and fans. You're using a combination here of evaporative cooling and convection cooling with the fans. You do not want to put your child in an ice bath. Cooling a child too quickly can actually cause more damage than good. So it's really important that the first thing that you do is call 911 and get medical personnel on site. And then if you're able, move that child to a cool place, put cool rags on them, and get some fans going. Another kind of important caveat here is if your child is confused, if they're vomiting, if they're not acting themselves, that is not a child that you should be offering water to. In those situations, please do not offer your child fluids. Wait until EMS arrives. So I talked to you about what to do in an emergency situation, but obviously in an ideal situation, you're not in that place. So how do we avoid heat stroke in children? The first thing is just being aware of the temperature. So for infants and children less than 6 months, greater than 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and older children as well, anyone really, 90 degrees Fahrenheit and above is a risk factor for overheating. So if it is 90 or above, I usually recommend that you try to spend as much time as you can, limit the amount of time outdoors, try to selectively spend time in the shade or cooler areas if you're outdoors. Definitely 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Those are the hottest times of the day. So try to be either in a shaded or cool area during those times of day, or definitely not engaging in sports activities, cardiovascular activities, etc. when between 10 and 4 when it's over 90. If it is super humid out, it is hotter for children. When the more humidity, the harder it is for children to cool themselves down through sweating. And so that's also something you want to be mindful of. And then keeping them out of direct sunlight again. So either wide brim hats or in the shade when it's really hot out. The other thing I always like to talk about in this section as a caveat is strollers. So strollers can become like greenhouses and get really, really hot very quickly. So you do want to try to think about breathable material for your stroller. If you're using something to keep out the sun or like rain, either making sure that that shaded material is breathable or adding something into the stroller to improve the convection through the stroller. So like a portable fan is a great idea. And then again, limiting stroller time between 10 and 4 in direct sunlight, especially if it's 90 degrees or higher. What do you do if you're not at the severe end of heat exhaustion, but you think your child might be mildly overheating? So the first thing to do again is to move them either indoors, 68 to 72 is ideal, or into a cool place. Offer them more hydration throughout the day. So for babies, anybody under 6 months who is breastfed, offer them more breastfeeding sessions. Formula-fed infants, you can offer them smaller, more frequent bottles. Children over 6 months, you can offer water to with the guidance of your pediatrician. Those 12 months and older, especially the toddler age, you want to have water available, ideally in a water that they like, so you can flavor that a little bit with fruit. I find that super helpful. You actually do want to avoid, for your toddlers and older children, a lot of juice-based drinks, so like frozen ices. While they can be helpful, actually the high sugar load causes you to urinate more and can actually cause more water loss and dehydration. So you do want to selectively try to rehydrate with water and electrolyte balanced solutions, not something that's too high in sugar, too high in salt. So Pedialyte is also a great option because it is electrolyte balanced. So summer should definitely be a time of fun, not fear. With a little bit of planning and awareness, you can definitely enjoy this beautiful New Jersey summer days with your infants and toddlers. If your infant is appearing red or clammy, they're unusually tired or fussy, just bring them indoors to be safe, rehydrate them. If their symptoms are persisting for more than a few hours, I would encourage you to reach out to your pediatrician. Overall though, stay cool, stay safe, and enjoy your beautiful New Jersey summer.
Thank you for watching the Beehive Doc Talks with Dr. Blair Rolnick. For more episodes and her practice, visit BeKindPediatrics.com and don't forget to subscribe for more parenting tips wherever you get your podcasts. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Always seek medical advice from a qualified physician.